Hi everyone, this is Kim Gi-wan from Korean Studio. Now, recently I made a short video clip on teaching the pronouns I and me. And in that video, we focused on how these pronouns change form depending on whether they're used with topic particles and subject particles. And I think a lot of people did find the video useful, but there were also a lot of questions regarding what these particles are. So in this video, we're first going to explain what particles are, and once you have understood what they are, next week there will be a separate video explaining more about topic and subject particles. Okay, so let's first start off by looking at an English sentence that's missing some words. Minsu ate hamburger, hot dog, park yesterday. Now, just by looking at this sentence, you can obviously see that it's missing certain words. However, even though this sentence is missing some words, we can still understand the gist of what this sentence means. It tells us who does what, and we can probably guess where it happened and when it happened. Now, we can guess the meaning of the sentence because this sentence already contains all the key words that indicate the meaning. And these keywords that indicate the meaning of the sentence are called content words. Content words include nouns, verbs, adverbs, and also adjectives. On the other hand, the missing words in this sentence are called function words. They're also called grammatical words or structure words. And the missing words in this sentence are articles, a conjunction, and a preposition. Other function words include helping verbs like the be verb and the have verb, and pronouns. Now, function words do not indicate the key meaning of the sentence, but they help us understand the relationship between the words in the sentence. And they also help to glue the words together to form a sentence. So in English, we have different names for different function words. But in Korean, all these function words are called particles. So let's take a look at the same sentence in Korean. So 민수 is 민수, ate is 먹었어요, a hamburger is hamburger, and remember that Korean doesn't have articles, so we can just ignore them. A hot dog is 핫도그, the park is 공원, and yesterday is 어제. Now the word order is entirely different, but as you can see in Korean, we also have words that relate to each function word in English. First, the conjunction and in Korean is 랑. The preposition at in Korean is 에서. And in Korean, we also use function words to identify the sentence subject and the object of the verb. To identify the subject, we can use either topic or subject particle. And each particle has a specific function, so it's very important that you use the one that fits the situation. And as mentioned earlier, we will explain more about this in another video. And in this sentence, the sentence subject is identified with the topic particle 는. And for the objects of the verb, a hamburger and a hot dog, 햄버거랑 핫도그, we identify the object using the object particle 를. So in English, each function word has a different name, but in Korean, all these function words are called particles. We can identify what each particle is, such as topic particle, subject particle, object particle, and so on, but they are all referred to as particles. Now, one last thing to note is that the reason why there are two different forms of the same particle is because we use one or the other depending on whether the word it is used with ends in 받침 or not. So let's say the subject is 선생님, a teacher. Then we would use the topic particle 은 rather than 는 because the noun 선생님 ends in a 미음 받침, whereas the noun 민수 or the name 민수 doesn't end in a 받침. And the same rule applies to all the other particles on the screen. Okay, so to wrap up, particles are function words. They help to indicate the relationship between words in a sentence, and they help to glue the words together. Now, one important point to note regarding learning these particles is that although some of these Korean particles do have an English equivalent that they're similar to, the way the Korean particles work can be quite different from the words that they're similar to in English. So just to give you an example, the particle 에서, although it's similar to the preposition at, there is another particle in Korean called 에, which is also similar to the preposition at. And in a Korean sentence, whether you use 에 or 에서 will depend on the meaning that you're trying to convey in that sentence. So when you learn about these particles, you can't just think, oh, that particle is in a translated English sentence is at, so they must be the same. They don't always work like that. So when you learn about these particles, it's very important that you learn about the way they function within the Korean language rather than just thinking, oh, that's the same as the English word. So that's something that we highlight in our grammar courses, and that's something that you need to keep in mind as you learn about these Korean particles in the future. Okay, so I hope you now have a better understanding of what particles are, and in our next video, we're going to take a deep dive into learning about topic and subject particles. See you then. Bye-bye.